have like one or two groups share a little bit. Anybody?
I think something that was really powerful, I really appreciated you brought up what's happening with 300 people in the vote. Because, and Angela made a good point about how classism exists in our understanding of immigration. We think about Asian folks, we think of like smart folks, folks who look a certain way. We don't talk about model minorities. And we don't talk about like, and then if you're an African immigrant, what does it mean, like West African versus like South African immigration. And then so I just think, we have to think about, like, we all are ahead of white supremacy. And how there's so much to unlearn about how whiteness has impacted the way that we even look at immigration. Like we don't only think about Central America. We ain't thinking about, sometimes we ain't thinking about Mexico. Like, you know what I'm saying? Borders and stuff. When I think about Sweden, people from Russia who come over here. And so, white supremacy is just so toxic when you think about like, that you gotta peel back so much of what we've learned about what it should look like. And who should have a seat. When you talk about immigration, it doesn't apply to me because I'm black. You just think about it too much. And specifically like DC was the first emancipated city in the country, but we didn't even have a mayor until 1972. So you talking about over 120 years of folks, black folks, DC had the most people, black folks in the country, and having nothing, having no type of government, just being completely federal. And so it's just, I think
Same
that's
as PR. Same as Puerto Rico.
Right.
Yeah.
You gotta put those together, too. You know, it's making the connections a lot of times.
See, but that's what I'm saying, like, to not even think about, like, how are these two places very similar? And going through the just bullshit.
And in these jails, thank you for bringing that up. In these jails, that's happening. All black folks are there, Chinese folks are there, you know, everybody's there with us. It's not just people from Mexico, it's not just people from Central America, right? People from Brazil that we out there, right? Literally everybody's there. So our conversations have to reflect that also, right? Like who is inside. So thank you for uplifting that.
Yeah, and I think to add to that too is like who is being criminalized, right? Because we do see that there are migrants from Europe coming in and maybe not having documentation, but is enforcement being placed on them, right? So also like where is ICE? Where is it more prevalent? And in some groups also, we talked over here about how a lot of our funding also doesn't just go into ICE, it goes into FEMA, goes into police stations, goes to social services, specifically to incarcerate and criminalize migrants, right? So that who's affected and by who is super important when we're having these conversations.
I met someone, her name was Mary, I think. I learned, first my assumption is I thought she was born stateside. And second, and then I learned that she's not born here. But also, I learned that she still had privilege, though. Also, although you're not born here. So, and then versus her, like, my experience, like, I'm Samoan, so my folks is from the islands. My grandparents migrated here in the late 60s. And so to hear him talk about, you know, all our cultures being affected by white supremacy, being colonized, and calling our islands in the Caribbean small islands, in the Oceania small islands. These are not small islands.
No.
These are unique historical places that carry traditional things that we got pushed out for. And so like one of the things that kind of triggered me was just that she kept saying like, yeah, these little islands, like no, these are not little islands. These are places where like our folks had just kings, queens, and all of these. And so when I sit here and process everything, like these are immigration and all their policies and laws and all that bullshit is just like tools to keep us segregated. And to keep us still in racism. Like, so, like, what does it look like for me as a leader to go back and game up our black and brown and our poly folks to get to work and like get our young folks to wake up and know you'll know. You know? And so like I appreciate this and it feels good to be in space.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for bringing that up about privilege too, because when I was locked up also, there was like a couple Canadian folks. And also no shaming or any struggle, but I remember being like, don't talk about like free healthcare up there. Right? But like she actually shared. She was like, yo, like I I've been stopped all my life by police and I've never been asked for papers. Like she talked a lot about her privilege in there, which I appreciate because she was also helping a lot of folks doing legal paperwork, and she still is. She's actually in Canada now. But like, it's a person that really recognized that privilege, and it's so real when you are, you know, you're colorism, right? Like people really are out here, yeah, being able to kind of navigate those because of the color of the skin, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Does one other group want to share?
I just wanted to add, when you spoke about FEMA, and when you spoke about DC, and we spoke about just like also what does it mean to be like Black American in this space, and know that like we've never really had access to full citizenship. So like what is our stake in this immigration conversation as well, right? Because when I think about FEMA, I also think about Hurricane Katrina, right? So folks were left just on their own, right? Like people couldn't be able to like come for them because like Black folks are not and still not senior citizens. Like what does that mean, right? So like recognizing that we truly have an important aspect in this conversation, and that when we think about Black people, when we think about immigration, we don't think about Black people.
Yes.
Yes.
We don't.
Speaking for myself, I'm trying to do better and always speak about Black people, for sure. But I wanted to share that also at the same time, like citizen, right? Yeah, the word, and then also undocumented. It's like bringing it back to us. Like I don't have a way to fucking get documented. Right? Don't bring it back on us. You know what I mean? To also get documented, right? So yeah, thinking about that word as well. Thinking about who gets to also like not get penalized for when there is a law. So right now with like DACA, for example, too. People know about DACA right here a little bit? So that was, I don't know if you want to share a little bit more. I think I'm losing the language on there. But like that was a way to divide people, like who like kind of deserved, right? Right. And like, yeah, if you take another pathway to your protection, you're criminalized, right? Which is like what's literally happening, right? So even right now, let's just talk about like the abortion situation with like this whole Supreme Court, they reversed the Roe v. Wade. That's only gonna make getting healthcare illegal in some places, penalized in some places, right? So depending on your zip code, you're doing something illegal or you're not, right? So just thinking about all those ways.
My name is Lucero. My pronouns she and hers. I'm from San Francisco. I was born in El Salvador. My mom made me a U.S. citizen at 14, but I didn't know like how much that meant to me or to my mom, that how she made me a U.S. citizen. I caught my case at 15 and I was direct file at 17 and went to prison at 19 and got out when I was 21. And just being messed with ICE inside the prisons and county jails, even though I was a U.S. citizen, my record really impacted my life. It took me 6 years to get a passport card. I still don't have a California ID because they're tripping about my record. It's just still, even if you're a citizen or you still have a resident, you still are being targeted. You're still being profiled. You're still not being able to get these things that you need to be, for example, I did a show and I was like, what if I die and I don't have an ID to prove who the fuck I am? Who am I gonna be, another Jane Doe? Like, it's fucked up how they do us. It doesn't matter what color you are and you're an immigrant, you still don't get the things that you need, even when you have a resident card or a U.S. citizen. And just not being born here and being targeted is just like, hey, like, I'm still a human. I'm still a woman. I'm a daughter. Right. You know, I have family. My brother was deported in 2008, and he was there for about 10, 11 years. He was murdered 3 months ago. And it's just, you still have to fight the violence in your country. And you still have to navigate the gangs and the government there that's so fucking corrupted and fucked up. I mean, sorry for
No.
but it's real. Like, it doesn't matter. You're still fighting the violence here, the violence over there. And it's just like, how can we fucking still, like, how can we ever be looked at, we're still people, we're still a woman, we're still a human, you know, we're somebody's family, we're somebody's aunt, grandma, sister.
And thank you for sharing. And also that, one thing that is key, even if we have papers, right, residency, all that is always can be taken from us, right? If, and I will talk a little bit more about this, but say you have a residency, you've been here your whole life, right, legally, you have that documentation, you commit any kind of small crime, whatever kind of crime you commit, it could be like you're driving without a license for the first time, your residency can be taken from you.
And also, what is a crime, right? Like, and for who? Again, like, the only crimes I see is the one the politicians are doing right now, right? But actually, like, not me. Driving to work is not a crime. Right? Trying to drive to my kids to school is not a crime. All right? Trying to
for crime of poverty, like really?
being poor is not a crime, right? Being a part of a mixed status family is not a crime. The fact that there is no pathway for you to document yourself is not a crime, right? So it's about like literally looking who actually is the enemy, and that's like people in positions that are actually implementing these things that are making it really hard for families to thrive.
Angela, you wanna?
Yeah, my name's Angela Yeshia. I wanted just to also add this layer of who profits from the increased immigration enforcement. Like, one of the things I see in this timeline is it is just like a constant escalation of enforcement, and the thing that we need to overlap onto that as the escalation of enforcement, as there's a constant escalation of enforcement, there's also a constant escalation of corporations profiting and making $1 billion off of that enforcement. So you see laws, you see like corporations popping up, more private prisons, you see more laws that are passed to criminalize different communities. And so I think it's very important for us to know, like, immigration laws, immigration enforcement is not budget neutral, right? Like, they are used to pad different cities' budgets, they're used for different corporations to profit. So many cities use minor violations like driving without a license, like having an expired tag, to lock people up in prisons and in jails, and also to put people into the deportation machine.
Thank you, Angela.
Yeah, so actually we are gonna have to be we're gonna have to start wrapping up soon. We had no idea like how much time we had, but we've been having a really good conversation. But before we do that, okay. We also wanted to just talk a little bit about Ale. To give a little background, Alejandra, like she said earlier, was detained by ICE at her routine check-in and was detained for 42 days. 43 days. Our community organized, we pushed, we did everything that we could to get her out, and we did. We won a bond, so now she's able to, now she's able to fight her case out here. We wanted to show you a little bit of what community defense looks like, literally looks like in form. This is, let's see. Oh, sorry,
I literally got out of the car from being released after being held for 4 hours after paying bond still. They still held me there.
We fought, we mobilized people to go to her court, her bond hearing. We got over 500 letters of support from organizations and individuals. We fundraised money to continue to support Ale even afterwards, right? Because the fight doesn't just end when people get out. There's still a long time until anything can happen. So we just wanted to show you a little bit of what it looked like.
25,000 petitions, y'all. People came all across the country to welcome me back.
They wouldn't let us stay on the property line. We could go across the street, wait for her to come out.
And the cop was just standing there the whole time watching the folks partying. Yo, these people, everybody was like caked up with dirt, y'all. I love y'all so much.
I have no chance.
So what went into all of this? It's a lot of work went into it, a lot of community, right? Organizations that had no idea how immigration worked. We did a lot of learning together. Ale really pushed our communities to stop thinking about who's worthy and not. Stop thinking about who deserves freedom and who doesn't. Having a record does not mean that you have to be deported. It does not mean that your humanity is not there. It means that you are a person, you are human. And Ale really showed us that.
A product of this timeline, right?
This is Ale's mom.
So, yay, mama. So my mom is my #1 resource, you know, my first 2 years. So mind you, I was here in in this detention center for 2 years and 4 days, back in 2011. That's when they first took away my resident card. So we can start, let's start with a little bit more information about, my family. So my mom actually got documented through this amnesty. Amnesty, oh my gosh. So she actually became on her way to becoming a naturalized citizen here. And living in California, which used to be Mexico, right, where the border cross does and all that crap, I lived a pretty bomb-ass life in California, in Santana. My mom became a resident 5 years after this. She became a naturalized citizen when I was almost 14 years old. And then we moved to Arizona. And in Arizona is where I turned 16 and I actually was like, oh, I want to work. And they were like, okay, you gotta go to this place and get Social Security. At the time I didn't register what was happening, right? But that was my first time petitioning to immigration. My mom, as a US citizen, was petitioning her daughter for the first time at 16. Because immigration is just really backed up, it's just always been awful. I actually didn't receive my legal permanent resident card till I was 18 and a half. And this is important to say because later on in my life, I started smoking weed. And I got into contact with the police and charged with paraphernalia. And then